سلام. شاید تا حالا فکر کرده باشید که چرا موضوعی مثل تصاحب فرهنگی یا همون cultural appropriation انقدر مهمه که بخوایم توی کلاس زبان دربارش حرف بزنیم. مگه نه اینکه زبان یعنی گرامر، واژه‌ها و تمرین مکالمه. اما حقیقت اینه که زبان آینه‌ای از فرهنگ و قدرت‌های پشتشه. وقتی اصطلاح، لباس یا سبک حرف زدن از یه فرهنگ برداشته میشه و بی زمینه یا بدون احترام استفاده میشه، فقط یه سوء تفاهم ساده نیست. میتونه نشونه‌ای از نادیده گرفتن، تحقیر یا حتی سلطه فرهنگی باشه. برای یه زبان آموز آگاه، دونستن این مسائل فقط یه امتیاز نیست، یه نیازه. چون اگه ندونیم پشت کلمات و سبک‌های زبانی چه داستان‌هایی خوابیده، ممکنه ناخواسته وارد میدونی بشیم که همدیگر رو نمیفهمیم یا بدتر به هم آسیب میزنیم. امروز میخوایم دقیقاً همین خط باریک بین الهام گرفتن و تصاحب کردن رو بررسی کنیم. خطی که بیشتر از اون چیزی که فکر میکنیم به زبان و یادگیریمون مربوطه.
Hey, we the Asians wanted to introduce you guys to this drink called boba. We've been drinking it for a while now and it's pretty popular and I think you guys will really like it. This just gave me a totally unrelated, completely original idea. What if at my coffee shop, instead of regular coffee cups, I use coffee cups with a round bottom? That'll be so cute and totally original. The boba tea that I just gave you has a round bottom, so I don't think you can say that was your idea. Plus, we've been using that type of cup for years now. We're totally okay if you use it, as long as you just give us some type of credit. Okay, I hear you. What if instead of calling my cup sizes tall, grande, and venti, I call it chinky, chinkier, and chinkiest? Okay, the bar is so low that we are getting slightly warmer, but no, that is highly offensive. We just want credit. If you can just say that you got the idea. Okay, I hear you, but what if I took your milk tea recipe and boba, but put it in a can and called it boba? Now I can market it as a completely original thing because you guys like putting it in plastic cups, but I put it in a can, so it's a completely new thing, so I don't have to pay homage to anyone. Not a completely new thing. No, at this point, the chinky chinky or chinkiest idea starting, we'll take that.
Let's talk about cultural appropriation, but not in the same old Twitter war kind of a way. In my classes and research, I've seen the term shift from addressing real injustices like blackface to side-eyeing every single cross-cultural outfit or slang word. Time to rewind, zoom out, and look at the big picture. We start with Awkwafina, the Asian American actress accused of using a Blaccent, a speech pattern associated with African American Vernacular English, or AAVE. Critics say she used it for comedic effect and then conveniently dropped it once she went mainstream. But context is key. She grew up in Queens, surrounded by hip-hop culture. It wasn't parody. It was part of her environment. Still, the backlash shows us how quickly public perception can shift when identity and performance collide.
I'm of the opinion that you can dislike whoever you want to dislike for whatever reason you want, but you cannot tell me that Awkwafina doesn't do vocal blackface, that she doesn't put on a Blaccent when PBS Origins, the public broadcasting service, the educational show run by the government, acknowledges it.
But Professor Bainbridge, this was the 1950s. Surely we've made some progress since Amos and Andy, right?
Don't sleep, because you're not disappearing, saw that? Wait, right? She did not go. She like you.
The continuing controversy around Awkwafina and her use of Blaccent has a lot of different moving parts, and it started very early in her career.
Make your girl panties cream. Yo, spreads hepatitis C.
But she adopts sort of an African American accent while she's rapping. And then after that, she becomes better known for her acting than her music. But even in television and film, she's still adopting this very particular African American vernacular English while she's performing. And she's largely performing funny characters, comedic characters.
You gonna roll up to that wedding, you gonna be like,
I'm open to the conversation. I think it, it really is something that, I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
Now, What even is cultural appropriation? It's when someone adopts parts of another culture, usually one that's been historically marginalized, without proper acknowledgement or understanding. Think wearing a sacred symbol as a fashion accessory or mimicking speech patterns for laughs.
Everybody wants to be a native until it's time to be a native. Cher is only 1/16th Cherokee, and she's been displaying herself as a native person since the 70s. She had a hit album called Half Breed and did the music video with a headdress and a full Native American outfit, as well as famously performing in shows with this Bob Mackie outfit, headdress, and loincloth style situation. Now, I would be understanding if this was a mistake and in modern times she looked at herself and said, maybe I shouldn't pretend to be a Native American or profit off of Native culture. But no, she still does this show today in the same updated, mind you, updated Native American headdress and Native American look. I'm reasonable and I could be completely forgiving if Cher was like, listen, I shouldn't have did this and this was wrong. Even if I am part Native, 1/16th is not giving a strong tie to the culture. Maybe I shouldn't be appropriating my people this way. But she's never issued that kind of statement, at least not to my knowledge. And since headdresses are considered something that's symbolic, like how a war veteran might wear a uniform, the headdress is symbolic in the same way. It's a symbol of honor, like you've done something or you're a person of importance. So wearing it for a music video half naked is not like, it's not it. And this look was so popular that it even became a Barbie. It was the Bob Mackie Cher Barbie. Through the years, Cher has other Native American inspired looks that nobody from the culture would ever dream of disrespecting themselves or their people in this way. Now I want to make it very clear, I don't dislike Cher. I love her music. I just think that profiting and appropriating Native American culture that you yourself are not a part of in terms of, you know, being in the tribe and with the people. There's a big difference between having Native American ancestry and DNA and actually being connected to your people. This is not a look of someone that's actually connected. There are ways to show your pride and show your heritage, even if you are a smaller percent. But again, it wouldn't be done in this disrespectful manner, because this also sexualizes Native women. And Native women, their third leading cause of being unalived is being unalived by a non-Native. So given all the violence that we experience as Native women, this just draws attention to the more negative things we face, rather than bringing positivity and light, appreciation to Native culture. It shines a spotlight on everything that's wrong with those. It shines a light on how people get away with appropriating Native culture for money and for profit without showing regard to actual Native issues.
The offense comes from detachment, not just borrowing. Of course, some cases are clear-cut. Blackface, unacceptable. White actors playing non-white characters, no debate. But others live in a gray zone. For example, when Olivia Rodrigo uses a bit of AAVE in her lyrics, is that appropriation or just the language of the culture she's grown up in as a Gen Z pop icon?
Like hip hop. 그래서 Who that? 마음에 안 들어. Who that? 자꾸 우리 좋은. 이거 같지 않냐? Let's party. Look at me. No, I'm talking about me flirting with my man, and that's not a bestie. Ice on my wrist. 내 여자야. Little Taco Bell. Little Taco Bell. Huh?
Now, let's stir the pot. Inner K-pop. Kiss of Life's live stream controversy in April 2025, the girl group Kiss of Life held a hip-hop themed birthday live stream for one of the members, Julie. What was supposed to be a cute celebration turned into a global PR disaster. Members wore cornrows, adopted fake urban accents, used the stage names like Lil Taco Bell, and one even wore makeup mimicking Latina features. It was a cultural custom party gone wrong. The backlash was instant. Hashtags, call-outs, cancellations, handwritten apologies followed, but many fans weren't buying it. Why? Because it didn't feel like an homage. It felt like parody. And in today's internet age, screenshots outlive apologies. So, where do we draw the line? Let me offer 3 golden rules. Credit where it's due. If your art, style, or language is inspired by another culture, say it out loud. If you're crashing in on someone else's culture, do your homework. Tokenism is easy. Collaboration is even better. And the third one, love it deeply, not just aesthetically. If you truly care about the culture, you'll show respect, not just imitation. Let's not forget, culture fusion has shaped modern pop. Elvis borrowed from black musicians and opened doors for them. Michael Jackson fused R&B, rock, and Broadway to globalize black pop. Aquafina, flaws and all, carved out a space for Asian American voices in places they'd been erased. So here's my take. If we turn culture into locked property lines, we get creative stagnation. But if we approach it like dialogue with credit, care, and curiosity, we build something richer, bolder, and more honest.
Culture is meant to be shared, correct, but culture is not meant to be taken by force and then sold for profit by groups of people who the culture does not belong to. That is what cultural appropriation is. It is a certain level of exploitation, of entitlement, and there are certain values that certain particular people have within white supremacy by which they feel entitled to take and not to create the conditions by which it is openly shared. Sharing usually comes from developing community with other people. Taking is from seeing another group as not in community with you. That is why cultural appropriation is a problem.
وقتی راجع به فرهنگ ها صحبت می کنیم، داریم از تجربه های آدم ها، تاریخشون و هویتشون حرف می زنیم. فرهنگ رو نمیشه مثل ترند فقط برداشت، تقلید کرد و بعد انداخت دور. اگه واقعا عاشق فرهنگ هستید، باید بشناسیدش، بهش احترام بذارید و بدونید که کی و چرا اون سبک یا اون زبان به وجود اومده. قضیه کس آف لایف رو دیدید؟ نیت ممکنه شوخی یا فان بوده باشه، ولی اثرش جدی بود. وقتی نمیدونی پشت مدل لباس یا لهجه چه تاریخی هست، ممکنه توهین بزرگی محسوب بشه. این چیزیه که من توی کلاس هم بهش تاکید میکنم. شما نظرتون چیه؟ توی کامنت ها برام بنویسید.